The question, why do students achieve so much with one teacher and so little under the guidance of another teacher, is often asked. I believe, as a result of having done research in this area for some time, developing good classroom management is a determining factor. Respect is paramount. Students need to feel respected and, in turn, need to develop respect for the teacher. I've spoken to kids who delight in mucking up in class, and I've talked to their teachers. A common non-verbal cue they both tend to give is rolling their eyes. "Oh, that class," the teacher recoils. "Oh, him," the student groans. What's clear here is a lack of respect. And don't start to think as a teacher you'll be able to fake it. Students are quick to smell a rat. Teachers who are not able to respect their students are in the wrong game.
Thanks for making the time to come and see me. As you know, there are a couple of things I think we need to discuss about your progress in the course.
Yes, I know. I'm glad you could make the time.
Not a problem. It's really part of my job to make sure everyone enrolled in the course is getting as much out of it as they can. If we just look at this spreadsheet which outlines your assessment results so far, you can see that while your grades were initially fine, certainly in the average for the year group as a whole, towards the end of semester 1 they've started to drop off a bit.
Yes, I see. I must admit that I had to take a fortnight off just after mid-semester break, and I really felt that the work I missed in those 2 lab sessions have made it really hard for me to understand some of the underlying material required for the rest of the course.
Well, thanks for being so honest, Angelina. I think we're going to have to think about putting some strategies in place, so that by the end of year assessments you're going to have a fair chance of passing.
Well, yeah, thanks, Professor Smith. I couldn't agree more, but I must admit I'm at the point where I don't really know where to start to get on top of this.
As I was saying, Professor Mitchell...
Oh, please call me Lisa.
Yes, well, Lisa... Well, I'm still trying to get my head around the choice of electives for the optional part of the third-year program. I was thinking of taking personal taxation law and company tax, together with the extra 5-credit point course on goods and services and VAT-type taxes, but I'm a bit concerned that I'm going to pigeonhole myself too early in the course.
Yeah,
As you know, there are going to be interviews for summer clerkships coming up, and I really don't want to come across as too focused on certain areas that a lot of firms don't even do, you know? Have a practice in.
Well, don't forget, only about 25% of the course at this stage is elective-based, and you'll still have that core of subjects: crim, legal institutions, evidence, property law, general commercial and Fed Con law, all of which would be of interest to a lot of firms. So if I were you, which I'm not, I'd really just go with what my interests are and enjoy the chance to undertake some work in an area that I'm motivated to pursue, don't you think? There's an awful lot of time in this profession where you'll be undertaking long, stressful hours on projects that don't really interest you as much.
One of the problems with primary teaching is that you are expected to be a jack of all trades. As you are aware, this is quite unrealistic. Very few people are equally good at music and English and science and art and maths and PE. Increasingly, specialist teachers are being employed in primary schools. The argument against moving completely in this direction is the pastoral needs of younger students. The relationship a student develops with a single teacher can be valuable. The routine of moving from room to room, or indeed of teaching style, can be problematic for younger students. The ideal situation is a school where teachers' special interests and passions can be complemented by the skills of their colleagues. Partial use of special teachers can be beneficial. As a teacher, if you love teaching maths, then teach it. If art is your thing, go for it. Children will be motivated by teachers who are passionate about what they are doing. This doesn't negate the need for primary teachers to be solid in a range of areas, but it does try to acknowledge the simple fact that no one is good at everything.
Get to know the organization sponsoring each scholarship, what it does, what its goals and mission are. The essay, which you will need to submit, should then be tailored. Tailor your essay to touch on those themes and describe what role they play in your life. For example, if you're applying for a scholarship from a nonprofit organization that supports literacy, talk about why literacy is important and what you've done and will continue to do to promote it. Every organization has an agenda. Find out what it is and target your essay appropriately. Remember, the worst thing you can do is simply submit a standardized essay. This will indicate that you're merely fishing for what might be available and not really committed to the goals and values of the organization. Some examiners will not take kindly to having their time taken up with submissions from potential candidates who are not really committed. Get to know the organization sponsoring each scholarship, what it does, what its goals and mission are. The essay, which you will need to submit, should then be tailored. Tailor your essay to touch on those themes and describe what role they play in your life. For example, if you're applying for a scholarship from a nonprofit organization that supports literacy, talk about why literacy is important and what you've done and will continue to do to promote it. Every organization has an agenda. Find out what it is and target your essay appropriately. Remember, the worst thing you can do is simply submit a standardized essay. This will indicate that you're merely fishing for what might be available and not really committed to the goals and values of the organization. Some examiners will not take kindly to having their time taken up with submissions from potential candidates who are not really committed.
Let's talk for a moment about the job of the catalytic converters. In a nutshell, their job is to convert harmful pollutants into less harmful pollutants, emissions, before they ever leave the car's exhaust system. They are still most commonly used in motor vehicle exhaust systems, but you'll also find them on generator sets, forklifts, mining equipment, trucks, buses, trains and other engine-equipped machines. A catalytic converter provides an environment for a chemical reaction where toxic combustion byproducts are converted to less toxic substances. Catcons are now fitted to both petrol and diesel engines, and I must say they do a good job, as long as they are clean and not clogged up with carbon and other deposits from the engine.
3 of the students were confused by the key hypothesis.
You can access the lecture notes and an extensive bibliography online.